What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 13 of Morbid Curator Podcast. I'm your host, RotKorpse, and with me I have Rich. I'm lucky enough to call him Dad. We're going to be talking about our top 10 favorite death metal and brutal death metal albums. And we'll just get right into it. How hard was it for you, man, to come up with all these albums?
I had a rough time trying to come up with this list. There's just so many bands that I really love and everything, and it was really I really had a hard time putting a list together. But after it was all said and done, I'm pretty happy with my list. So.
Yeah, I agree. It was very hard trying to figure out what my biggest thing was. I mean, it was pretty. I knew the bands, I think, pretty well, like which bands I wanted in my list. It was as much as like putting them into an order is what kind of threw me off a little bit, because it was, I don't know, they're just all so great to me, and there's so many of them, so it's so hard to just make it all into one little, especially a little list, you know?
Right. It could have easily been a, top 20 or
top 50.
Yeah, top 50. Yeah, even that.
We could be talking for hours about, metal and our favorite albums and all that good stuff.
Right.
So we're gonna start from 10 and just work our way down to 1. What was your rating for number 10, or what was your band for number 10?
Number 10 for me was Aborted's 2001 album, Engineering the Dead.
Okay.
It's their second album, and that album also has my favorite track on it of all their stuff, and that's the Holocaust Incarnate.
Oh, okay.
And it's the first track off that album, and it's great. It has that at the towards the end there, it's got this just breakdown that's just sick as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
It's just great. And then there, it's got Nailed Through Her Cunts. That's a good track too.
Yeah.
I love that one. In fact, the beginning of that track, they have the Hellraiser, your suffering will be legendary, even if in hell. At the top of it there.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool.
That is badass. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, even the song "Engineering the Dead" is great and everything. Sven's vocals are just. We talked about some of the bands that you can just pick out who they are without even hearing, and Aborted's one of them.
Oh yeah.
Sven's vocals are just that way.
Yeah, it was super badass one. I mean, we even seen them. We talked about it a little bit in our metal episode, but yeah, he was. It was a great show, great vocalist, great album. That is a great album to have on your top 10. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with that album?
No, that's what I come up with number 10. So
awesome, man. Yeah. So my number 10 was Cattle Decapitation, the Anthropocene Extinction. It's their 6th album, came out in 2015. You can't go wrong with Travis Ryan's vocals. I mean, we've talked about it before. Yeah. He's a fucking legend. Yeah. And this album in particular is very range. I mean, he has a lot of his deep gutturals, and then he also has a lot of his high screams and stuff. Yeah. So he has a lot of range in this album, which is, I appreciate and respect. And the blast beats and the riffs are just, they go so well with his vocal. Like, everything just kind of goes together with Cattle Decapitation. And, and this album, it was very, I remember you actually gave me this album along with Monolith, but, and I would listen to it in my car, all that, and just let it run and stuff. And yeah, man, it's a badass album. Definitely one of my top 10s. One of my favorite parts, even just the first track, Manufactured Extinct, where it just starts out with that like badass riff, and it has him like growling. Oh yeah, like his growl vocal, like guttural, like right over top of it. Just like it's hard to explain it, but like he kind of does it along.
It just goes along with the music.
And I think they the first time that I saw Cattle, and it was, I'm pretty sure, the second time that you saw them when we saw them with Suffocation.
Yeah.
I think they opened up with that song too,
Yeah.
which is pretty badass.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's, you know, they got the Prophets of the Lost on there, Not Suitable for Life, Pacific Grim. I mean, it's a great album.
Yeah, there's some really popular tracks on that album from for his fans and stuff with Cattle Decapitation.
Yeah, and the album cover's badass.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's got like that zombie looking dude with the trash and pollution and everything on the beach,
ocean, all the trash and stuff.
You know, they always put out a good message with, you know, pollution and just the world extincting, you know, and all that. So it was overall, that's my number 10, and it's, you know, it was hard to not put it further down,
right?
You know, but there's a lot more bands to come. So
like we talked about, it's hard making a list, you know. Number 9 for me is Mortician's Chainsaw Dismemberment. Classic stuff. I love Mortician. This is a band that it sounds like it's right in your basement. They're playing right in your fucking basement.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it's raw as fuck. It is. It's raw as fuck.
It's got like the distortion, and like the bass is real. It's like if a B horror movie could be like a song, that's what that is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's like
exactly.
Like I don't know how to say it, but it's like the sound is like terrible, but like badass.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? It's raw. Yeah, like there's no
like the way it doesn't sound like it's been produced or anything.
Yeah,
you know? It sounds like these fuckers are down in your basement just playing away, you know, and it's great. You know, I love this band. It's their second album, 1999. I didn't know if you knew this or not, but Will Romer, the vocalist that's been in it, he used to do the vocals for Internal Bleeding.
In
the mid 90s till he left and then formed Mortician. You know, so it was a good forming his own band and everything. One thing I like about the Mortician too is all the horror film references and all their songs and shit.
Yeah.
They you know, Friday the 13th and stuff, and they even have references on just off the wall, and Drink Your Blood is one of them, you know. Reference on that and stuff. I just love it. It's just horror and death metal just go together.
Yeah, and they're very much like that with, like you were saying, with the intros of their songs. There's a lot of like clips from horror movies, and which really puts you in the mood too. You know what I mean? Like it's some fucked up, it's like intro from a movie, and it's like, you know, it's hell yeah. And a lot of the time you kind of remember it, you know, it's from something that you're familiar with, like a movie that you've seen before, so it's even cooler. You're like, oh dude, that's you know, I Drink Your Blood or something like that. So they're badass band. I love Mortician.
Yeah, it's a band that had to make my list. It's just one of the forefathers of death metal, you know, kind of thing. Been but
so that's your number 9. Hell yeah. My number 9 is Disgorge, She Lay Gutted, 1999.
Great album.
It's their second studio album. Dude, it's fucking badass. I mean, Disgorge is like borderline, if not like slam. It's very brutal death metal.
Yeah, very brutal.
The gutturals are just fucking insane. Riffs, and there's blast beats. They all flow. It's such a great album. I mean, you can like throw this in and just listen to it, this, you know, straight up for fucking me anyway, personally. Like these, you know, just so the listeners know, these are just our personal opinions on these things. You know, there's no right or wrong order or bands or anything like that. This is just our own opinions and everything.
Right.
But yeah, Disgorge, man, She Lay Gutted, that track is awesome. Exhuming the Disemboweled, Womb Full of Scabs, just badass tracks.
Oh yeah.
And I mean the brutal album cover. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's got that woman laying there naked, gutted, you
Gutted,
know,
yeah.
and you see her intestines flowing out of her stomach and all that shit, and
Yep.
it's just brutal as hell, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's
That's a good. And I mean, I had trouble keeping, I would have had them in my top 10,
yeah,
but I just had so many other,
yeah. It's
like
hard
this
narrowing it down.
it's so tough, making this list and everything. But yeah, awesome album,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for
So
sure.
that's my number 9, man.
Okay. Number 8 for me is Internal Bleeding's debut album, 1995, Voracious Contempt.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dude, this album is great. Um, I mean, for starters, I don't know if you know this or not, but Internal Bleeding they're the band noted to start slam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are, in fact, they wanted to be so different in their music and everything that they deemed themselves the fucking slam band,
Oh
and
yeah,
that started slam. But I mean, if you listen to them, it's like they sound a lot like Skinless,
yeah,
a lot, you know and that's you can just tell, like, bands like that are just, that's what started slam,
yeah,
the
yeah,
stuff we like
yeah. And
today.
that's the shit
Yeah.
that I listen to even more than Brutal Death. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was hard for me. Another thing that was hard was me picking songs that weren't like
Right,
slam, like
right,
more
slam,
slam
yeah.
than they were
Mm-hmm.
Brutal Death.
Yeah.
Because I have a whole big category, bands that I like that are slam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, uh like, they're known for when they started, their flyers would read, Internal Bleeding, total fucking slam.
Oh
That's
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's awesome.
and uh a lot of most people say they're the ones who started slam. So, and this their debut album is it's great. Like I said, they have that sound like Skinless has, where it's just borderline,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah, I agree
yeah.
on that. I've listened to their a lot. Listened to their albums
Hmm.
before. I never knew that they were like a slam,
Yeah,
like Godfather,
yeah.
basically.
They're saying that Internal Bleeding was the ones who invented slam. Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
really
it's
awesome.
pretty.
That's something I should know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome that you.
And John Gallagher, I mean, he's sporting the Internal Bleeding shirt all the time.
Yeah,
He's a big fan of
that's
them.
also
So,
really cool. Noticing like other bands
hmm,
supporting other bands and
yeah,
shit like that. That's
yeah.
real cool. John, yeah, he's one that always has a good
Oh yeah,
good shirt
good
on.
shirt on. Yeah.
So my number 8 is Suffocation's "Effigy of the Forgotten."
Oh yeah.
1991 is their debut album.
Hmm.
Frank's vocals are fucking badass. We seen it firsthand.
Yep.
In when we seen him with Cattle and all that. He's also to me like one that you can kind of like pick out his vocals
Oh yeah.
also.
Yeah.
And the whole album throughout is like really badass.
Hmm.
But one of my favorite songs on there is Liege of Adversity.
Hmm.
And it's got like a really bad breakdown,
Oh yeah.
badass breakdown
Oh yeah.
through it.
Yeah, it does.
And I like Involuntary Slaughter and Seeds of the Suffering, and of course Effigy of the Forgotten.
Right. Right.
But it's just, dude, so classic. It's like a classic old school sound. This was, Suffocation's a fucking forefather, godfather of this shit too.
Oh yeah.
So, this was 1991. This was when death metal was really popping off and the media was catching on and the popularity of death metal was kind of becoming a thing. And I don't know, dude, you just can't go wrong with that classic ass sound of Suffocation, So that's why they made my list for number 8.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's another great album. Number 7 for me was Obituaries Inked in Blood.
Oh yeah, I love that album.
It was so fucking hard to pick one Obituary album.
Yeah, I also had that problem.
Yeah. But it all came down to, because I mean, all their albums are great. I mean, and all of them have such iconic tracks on them. You know,
Yeah.
Frozen in Time, Cause of Death.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and but it came down for me as an overall package. For me, I like the cover and everything too. Kind of just the whole package, you know. And to me, Inked in Blood, the cover is awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
That's my favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Cover, 100% from Obituary.
Yeah, but just Visions in My Head, you know, I know that's one of your favorites.
Oh too. Yeah, the Visions in My Head is my favorite. Violence.
Yeah.
There's so many good tracks.
Pain Inside, I love that track because it's so slow and fucking brutal. You know, and you know John's vocals, you know, and his brother Donald on the drums, you know,
he's definitely one of my favorite drummers. I mean, his double bass is just insane. In all of the albums, they're all just so. And John's vocals, dude, are just so unique. Like they're to me personally, the most unique vocals in death metal. Like you can pick him. I can pick him out over anybody. Because who else do you know that sounds like a fucking zombie? You know what I mean? Throwing up.
Sound like he's throwing up. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great choice, dude. That's unfortunately that didn't make my list. I do have a couple that we'll get to that are from Obituary, but it was very hard not putting that album on my list because it's like right there. It's fucking
like I said. I mean, I know Obituary had to make my list.
Oh yeah,
but I just couldn't. It was tough picking one.
Yeah, for sure.
Such a great band.
I sat there for a long time trying to figure out which Obituary album I wanted. I knew that they were going to make my list because it's fucking Obituary.
Oh,
yeah. But picking an album out of all their albums was just so fucking hard.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was your 7th, right?
Yep.
So my 7th is Ingested, Surpassing the Boundaries of Human Suffering.
Another great album.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome album. This album is what got me into Ingested, which ultimately pretty much got me into Slam, really.
Yeah.
It's came out in 2009, and has one of my favorite covers of all of all time, of all of album covers. It's really like my favorite album cover. I even have a flag of this.
You're right.
It's so brutal, you know. It's got like all those naked women with the like.
I even have a shirt, you know, that cover album.
Yeah, it's sick as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and it's got such good songs on there. Stillborn, Skinned and Fucked, Condemned to Rape.
Yeah.
You know, and Jason Evans, brutal ass fucking. He's a brutal dude in general. I mean, we did a Wall of Death for this dude.
Yeah.
You know.
And it was even great seeing him live.
Yeah.
You know.
It was like
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole, and we're gonna see him again with Devourment in a couple months. June.
That's gonna be
so that's gonna be fucking awesome again. But you know, it's got the chugs, and shit, and the vocals. Yeah, it's just all around great ass album. I love this is my favorite album from Ingested. And yeah, that's my number 7, man.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great album. Number 6 for me is Suffocation. Effigy of the Forgotten.
Hell yeah.
That's, I mean,
that's got to be on the list.
Yeah. Their debut, 1991 album. Yeah, you covered a lot of it, but you know, Frank Mullen's vocals are, you know, it's one that you can just pick out anywhere, you know, and he was kind of crowned as one doing cleaner vocals than just the gutturals and stuff. I mean, if you probably know this, his vocals are a lot like Corpse Grinders. You can if you listen to him, you can tell what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially for somebody who listens to this kind of music.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, you can pick it out. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody who doesn't listen to it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we can't fucking hear shit.
Right. Right. Dude, you can if you listen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can even make out some fucking Brutal Slam shit. You know?
And Frank Mullen was the first one to do that, and that's what made Suffocations stand out.
Yeah.
You know, that you could, you know, it was brutal, and you could make out what he was saying too on top of it. You know?
Yeah.
And Terrence Hobbs, fucking guitar, dude.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
that dude's a one badass motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, their duo was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Seeing them. It's so nice that we were able to see Frank before he left.
Oh yeah. That was I consider us lucky that we got to see him. You know, it was the first time and the last time we get to see Suffocation.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because they're still going on with a new vocalist, right?
Yeah.
I haven't listened to any of their shit.
Have you? I haven't either. I mean, I've picked up some stuff, you know, on YouTube. You can see him play live and stuff like this. And that's one thing that Frank didn't do too, that I feel that we were really lucky in this, because believe it or not, Frank didn't tour a whole lot.
Yeah. I remember you telling me
there was always, you know, somebody else doing the vocals on tour. He'd do the albums, but then somebody else would do vocals live, you know?
Yeah. So we got really lucky.
Yeah, we got really lucky.
Especially, you know, he doesn't even do it at all anymore. So.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel real fortunate to, you know, that's kind of a bucket list kind of thing, you know? It's really good.
The last thing I'm going to say about Frank is it was cool that he decided to retire before he like fucked his vocals up. Yeah. And I think I remember him saying that at the show, was like, you know, he wants to be able to like live his life with like he's gone, but we're still remembering him as a badass dude. Right. We're not like, you know, I don't want to be the one to shit on Chris Barnes right now, but
I was going to bring that up too later on.
You know, a very good vocalist turned into not so good vocalist because he fucked his vocal cords up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm glad that Frank decided to leave before he turned into what people think Chris Barnes is now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really cool that we got to
go out when you're on top. Instead of exactly. Being at the bottom, because that's what you want to be remembered as. You know?
100%.
Yeah. And you know, you mentioned some of the songs off that. "Infecting the Crypts" is one of my favorite songs off that album. "Jesus Wept." That's
dude,
a good,
for sure.
Yeah. I can. Great fucking album. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So that was number 6.
Yep.
So for number 6, I got Mortician.
Oh, awesome.
And I got Hacked Up for Barbecue.
That was. It was tough between the both.
Yeah. And
that would have been my second. Yeah.
You know, we covered, you know, it's that distortion, the bass, the rawness, you know, it's fucking Mortician.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have them on your fucking list.
Yeah.
So Hacked Up for Barbecue came out in 1997, but they reissued it with an EP, Zombie Apocalypse. It was like a double feature, you know, like a split basically. That came out in 1998. But, you know, it's just like we talked about, fucking badass. The riffs are just so like just brutal as fuck. I mean, this has got to be one of the most brutal bands out there.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about the horror movie theme type shit.
It's got the whole thing going on. And like you said, you know, you're hearing that, it just puts you in the mood. It puts you, you know, gives you that vibe of just, you know, death metal, you know.
Yeah, shit. For sure. Yeah. And you know, this is a long it's like it's like almost an hour long album.
Yeah.
It's like 50 I mean, most you know,
Chainsaw Dismemberment, same way.
Yeah. And you know, a couple of the songs I liked were Charred Corpses, Dissected, Drilling for Brains, Cremated. I mean, dude, it's just there's no words to describe it. Like, I mean, I'm trying to think of other words other than like raw and stuff, but I mean that pretty much describes it. It's just fucking
it's
raw.
Just raw shit. It's just, you know, like I said, it's like the band's playing in your basement, you know, in front of you live. You know, there's no It's not being produced. It's not.
Yeah,
It's just
there's
raw.
there's nothing making it sound clean,
right?
You know, like
right.
there's no.
It's all distorted.
It's not like edited
distortion.
or anything. You know, it's just straight up.
Brutal.
Yeah,
Straight
brutal
up
as
brutal.
fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 6, dude.
Awesome. Yeah, like I said, that it was a tough between that
Yeah.
and Chainsaw Dismemberment, but that
and the cover is cool too.
Oh yeah,
it's you know it's not as cool as Chainsaw Dismemberment, I don't think, but it's got like that skeleton chair sitting in the thing, and then
kind of thing.
It's got that body like strung up and dismembered and gutted up into the left corner and shit. So yeah, it's pretty brutal cover too. So
yeah, those. I mean, both of those albums are my top 2.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
and it's their debut album too.
Oh yeah,
I forgot to mention that too. But
number 5 for me was Ingested, surpassing the boundaries of human suffering.
How did I know that we were going to have some similar?
And that's I mean, I don't know if your listeners know this or not, but I think the only band that we know of is our number ones. We don't know any of.
This our lists are completely. We don't know what each other's list is. So it's going to be cool finding out what, especially the further down the list we get.
Right.
Where how they stack up with each other. Me and my dad are very similar in a lot of fucking ways. So it wouldn't surprise me if they start getting a little bit closer and shit. So
So I was really excited about this podcast because just to see what you thought and I thought, I mean,
for sure.
we always say we're on the same page and everything else like that and everything, but this is just
I mean, for all we know, and I mean, honestly, it could be completely different,
right?
The further we get down, who knows?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, this is great. I love
it.
Yeah,
for sure. It's gonna be a badass episode, and I hope the listeners are down for this shit too, and and if any of the listeners, we want to know your, I'll just throw this out there real quick. We want to know your top 10 or at least your favorite album, just throw that out there. And,
or if you like some of these bands we're talking about, and
leave a comment on the YouTube, and don't forget to like and subscribe and just comment, we want to hear what you got to say. So my number 5 is Obituary, The Incomplete, 1992. It's their 3rd studio album. Dude, what a great fucking album. Like I said, you had Inked in Blood, which is like a very, I mean, it should have been it should have been on this list, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I listened to all their albums again before we did this 1 through 10 thing, and I came to the conclusion of The Incomplete being my 5th on here because it's just, the whole album is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's great. The drumming is just so fucking good. Donald Tardy, I mean, he's like my second favorite to Trey from Dying Fetus. His double bass is just fucking awesome throughout the whole album, all of their albums really. But Rotten Ways is a badass track. Killing Time, I'm in Pain, that one's fucking cool. Corrosive, I mean, dude, it's just, there's so many good songs on that track. Very much like Inked in Blood. But this one just made the cut, man. Number 5. So
another great album.
Fuck yeah, man.
Okay, my number 4 pick is Cannibal Corpse, 1992, Tomb of the Mutilated.
Oh, hell yeah. Yep. That's one of my favorite albums.
And I mean, in the death metal world, it's probably, Cannibal Corpse's most popular album, for a very good reason. It actually was really tough for me between this and The Bleeding. It really was. It was, I had to sit here and just, really think about it and everything. But both of them are great albums. Both of them, Chris Barnes era, and we talked about Chris Barnes earlier. His back in the day, when he was with Cannibal, I mean, his vocals were iconic, and it just really set the standards for death metal vocalists and stuff like that. He left Cannibal, and formed 6 Feet Under, and their first albums were okay and everything, but his vocals just really went down the crapper.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
it's like he just shredded his vocal cords or whatever. It just sounds total garbage.
Yeah,
right now, which is a shame. Nothing to take away from Corpse Grinder, though. I mean, I have favorite albums of his too and everything, but the Chris Barnes era Cannibal Corpse is just, that's what put them on the map.
Yeah. Who would you prefer, Corpse Grinder or Chris Barnes?
This Chris Barnes, this era, not Chris Barnes now.
Right. Well, yeah. As far as Cannibal Corpse goes, as a whole, who would you?
I would prefer to have Chris Barnes throughout, if his vocals stayed the way they were. It's just brutal, it's brutal.
I agree.
Corpse Grinder is fucking awesome, dude. His vocals are great. And he's kind of made a name for himself in Cannibal Corpse, and he's gotten them even more popular. Corpse Grinder has so much more range than Chris Barnes did. And he was able to do his vocals faster, than Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes couldn't keep up with that. But I love Chris Barnes' gutturals back then, and everything. And I mean, we're talking Hammer Smash Face. That's
I Come
Blood, Addicted to Vaginal Skin, which I didn't know if you knew the guy talking.
At the beginning.
Where he took a knife and from her neck down to her anus. And, that's the Genesee River Killer.
Oh, really?
Arthur Shawcross.
Okay,
yeah. That's
badass.
Yeah, so it has a little. I love it when death metal has a little reality into it. You know what I mean? Like some serial killers or.
Well, that's kind of what I like about death metal anyway. Is they're real. They're real.
Yeah.
There's no sugarcoating it. There's no.
It's not commercialized. It's not.
It's not. There's just no beating around the bush,
they're straight up in your face. Shit.
This is, and a lot of the shit that they talk about is shit that can happen or has happened,
right?
With killings and brutal shit that's gone on. So that's badass that they throw that. Cannibal Corpse is one that has that kind of shit in their songs.
Yeah. So I mean, that was my number 4. It's just it's got some great iconic tracks on it. That you'll hear every show. If you go to Cannibal Corpse, you'll hear these songs.
Yeah, definitely.
There. The Bleeding is another one, and it was so tough to pick from The Bleeding. Fucked with a knife and stripped, raped, and strangled. That one is good. That has a lot of iconic songs on it too.
Yeah, Cannibal Corpse, they have so many damn albums also. It's hard to pick from, and they're all very good. So that's a good number 4 though.
And actually, I mean, it was tough because my favorite is Butchered at Birth. I love, as far as album covers, that's the best album cover in my opinion. The Cannibal Corpse's album cover and everything else, and it's got good tracks on it right off the rip. Meat Hook Sodomy, and shit. And actually, I believe the guy that's talking, you can make it out, it has this distorted thing, but the guy's talking is Albert Fish, another serial killer that's speaking. They can't make out a lot what he's saying and everything, but it's all distorted and everything. And it goes into Meat Hook Sodomy and shit like that. It's just gutted. It's just fucking.
That's badass.
It's great. And we both love the album cover. Butchered at Birth. We got.
Even this album cover, 2 Minute Amelia, is pretty badass
good.
too. It's got that dude eating that zombie girl out,
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Skeleton, I don't even know, just rotting away,
right,
and shit. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely, like you said, Butchered at Birth is my favorite Cannibal Corpse album cover also, you know. So Tomb Mutilated I think is probably my second, I think. But yeah, man.
Even their latest one.
Actually it's my third, because that one, Violence Unimagined, that album cover is fucking awesome. That's actually my first. I completely fucking forgot about that album for whatever reason.
That's brutal. So that's probably not, I mean, the only one that comes up, I mean, Tortured's pretty good, pretty good album cover. It's a good album too.
It's got a Scourge of Iron on it, and that's my favorite track. That from all of Cannibal Corpse.
But I always been a fan of the Wretched Spawn too. That's one of my favorite Corpse Grinder album. Wretched Spawn. Yeah.
My number 4 is Morbid Angel, Gateway to Annihilation. It came out in 2000. It's their 6th studio album. Dude, this shit is fucking awesome. It's got like that chugging shit. It's like very doom metal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the riffs are just fucking doom. It's got like a little bit of blast beats underneath it, you know, sometimes.
But dude, it's slow.
Very slow. Yeah. The fucking vocals are brutal as fuck. Dude, it's
reminds
awesome.
Me of Autopsy. Autopsy's just fucking doom metal. Yeah.
It's very it's like timeless, you know. It's you can listen to it for fucking I was listening to it like a couple weeks ago, just like on repeat, you know. It's fucking awesome. It's very old school. I mean, Morbid Angel, dude, they're like, I'm trying to remember, they're pretty fucking they're not the first. Possessed is the first, right?
Possessed,
But Morbid Angel's like right after that. I mean, they're fucking like
they got to be like
one of the fucking top 4 forefathers of this shit.
Even the top 3.
Yeah, top 3. Yeah. So yeah, man. Summoning Redemption is one song that's badass. My favorite song on this album is He Who Sleeps.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking super badass, dude. It's the fucking I just can't get over like just the vocals. They just go so well with the slowness, like so awesome. Open the Gates is another good track on there. To the Victor, the Spoils, that's another good one. But yeah, man, that's my number 4. Fucking Morbid Angel, dude.
Yeah, that's a great.
We almost got we've never seen them. That's one band that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
We were gonna be able to see them, but we decided against it because the fucking tickets were crazy, weren't they?
Yeah.
There was a maybe that was the Dying Fetus, Chaos and Carnage.
Yeah, that was the Chaos and Carnage thing.
But for whatever reason, we decided not to. But
I think they were the only ones on the bill.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Thing, but yeah, I mean, still love. Yeah, I mean, that's another bucket list band to see. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see them someday. I mean, our list is just getting bigger and bigger with the bands that we've seen. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we Ingested, Aborted. We saw them live. I mean, that knocked a couple off. My bucket
I mean, pretty much the only people that we haven't seen on our list so far is Mortician. I think. I mean, everybody else we've seen.
Yeah.
So that's in Disgorge. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's pretty. That's my number 4, man.
That's awesome. Number 3 for me is Cattle Decapitation's 5th studio album, 2012. You know, you already know. Monolith of Humanity. Yep. That I started listening to them. The Harvest Floor, which is the album right before this one.
Yeah.
This album just the tracks on it. I mean, we talked about Travis Ryan's vocals and stuff, and the Carbon Stampede first track on the thing. You know, right off the rip, just going hard, and then it has that like 3-second just stop breakdown.
Yeah,
it's like you know, and it's just badass. And I mean, Forced Gender Reassignment.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't go fucking wrong with that.
No, and I mean, if you haven't seen the video to this this song.
It's by far the most brutal thing that I've seen.
In death metal like videos.
Yeah, as far as
definitely.
videos. I mean, even to me personally, even like a horror movie wise, it's pretty fucking graphic. It's awesome. Like,
because I think the one that comes close to it is even off Anthropocene, the Callisto Way. That's the one that comes kind of close to that. I mean, it's from the same same group and everything, but it's brutal as hell.
It is. Definitely go check that shit out. I don't even know if can you get it on YouTube?
I think you can get it on YouTube. I actually have the DVDs, with the videos, but I think you can see it on YouTube.
So if any of you listeners are interested in seeing one of the most brutal fucking music videos that you've ever fucking seen, go check out Cattle Decapitation Forced Gender Reassignment. That shit's fucking badass.
Yeah. Gristle Liquor, it's good. Good track. The whole, I mean, we talk about album covers too. This is such a great album cover. It's got the dude on there, he kind of rips off his face and he's just an ape, kind of thing. And it's called Monolith of Humanity, and monolith means not a single great stone, often in the form of a monument. If you look at the album, there's a great stone in the background. For society, it means not open to new ideas, a group of people who will just stay the same, like sheep, basically. And that's Cattle Decapitation's MO. It's all about, we're just sheep, we're going to be our own demise and everything else like this. And
like the human race is just fucking idiots, right? Pretty much.
Pretty much. And great album. I mean, my favorite album from Cattle. And
it was definitely a hard toss up between this and Anthropocene, because this is a close second to me.
I mean, well, Anthropocene came right after Monolith, so just a great album.
Hell yeah, man. My so that was number 3, right?
Yep.
So my number 3 is Obituary, Cause of Death, 1990.
Yeah.
It's their second studio album. So John Tardy, like we said before, his fucking vocals are just so unique to me. And the funny thing is, like, I'll be honest, when I first heard Obituary, I can't remember what song it was or what album it was, but I didn't dig them that much. Like, it wasn't like, it wasn't anything that really stood out to me, And we went and seen them, which we've talked about in episode 11, I believe. We talked about meeting them and everything like this, but seeing them live is just crazy. And then, like, ever since then, dude, I love Obituary. Like, I fucking cannot get more. Like, I can't get enough of Obituary. Like we were saying, all of their albums are fucking awesome. Which Obituary album to put on here between Cause of Death or in the Incomplete? It was hard picking between all of their albums, but these were the two that I decided on.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty happy with the decision.
Yeah.
They're both very great albums. So.
Oh yeah. I think Obituary is just one of those bands that I mean, I could pick some Cannibal Corpse's album, because I do have my least favorite Cannibal Corpse and everything, but Obituary is so hard to just pick one album because they're so great.
Yeah, they're awesome. But yeah, man, that's my number 3.
Okay. My number 2 is Dying Fetus, 2012, their 7th studio album.
Oh yeah.
Your favorite.
Yep.
Reign Supreme. Yep. It was kind of tough between that and Wrong One to Fuck With, because that I love that album too.
Yeah.
But I had to go with Reign Supreme. I mean, so many iconic tracks on there. My favorite is Womb to Waste.
Yep.
off there. I mean, you got Subject to a Beating, In the Trenches.
Yep.
I mean,
Invert the Eye.
and it's great. I mean, when you mentioned earlier, I think in one of our other podcasts of you like the way John and Sean's vocals go back and forth and stuff, and that's it. That makes it, and then you have Trey's awesome drumming. I mean, this dude, his footwork on the bass is just crazy. You know?
I've seen video of it, like where it's just at his feet while he's playing.
Yeah,
dude, that shit's
it's
like
insane. Yeah, it is. And they're the perfect trio. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, they sounded decent with I can't remember who was the other. Do you remember the other band member that they had for
I can't remember.
They had a different drummer too.
Yeah, they've gone through several drummers until they finally I think Trey got on board with Descend into Depravity, which is the album right before Reign Supreme. So I think they got the whole clique going here. They finally got what works.
The trio, the trio, badass brutal trio. I love everything about Dying Fetus. They're my favorite band. I love seeing them live. We've seen them multiple times. Reign Supreme is by far the greatest. We'll get into it, but all I can say is I've listened to that album in particular, many times over and over and over again.
Well, and I think he made it a point. I had it in my car for 2 years, about 2 years. When it just never came out of the CD player. It was always in there. It's that great of an album. Wrong One to Fuck With. I mean, their last album, come pretty close. It's got some good tracks on it too. Awesome cover.
The cover's awesome. I think that's probably my favorite Dying Fetus cover.
Mine too. And they even went with the old logo.
I remember when they made that transition back to the old logo. That was real cool. I dig the new old but new style. I like the bold letters too, because it's just straight up what it what Dying Fetus. And people who aren't into metal can read it very well and know that it's Dying Fetus, which is kind of fucked to some people. So that I get a kick out of that, but I dig the like the death metal style that they use for it. So
the logo, and the only time they've done it is Grotesque Impalement album, which is which Grotesque Impalement is like my favorite song. I remember the whole thing. Every time they play, I'm always in the pit with that song. And it's a long song too. So
that's a brutal ass song, man. It's Dying Fetus had a lot of albums that were, the thing about this list is I tried to make it pretty versatile, like versatile or whatever, to where I can kind of because there's plenty of like Obituary. I mean, all of their albums could have been in my top 10. Cannibal Corpse, that could have filled 1 through 5, or some shit like this. Dying Fetus could have filled like 3, So I was trying to just kind of keep it different and stuff like this, and it was so hard to just choose, though. That was the thing, man. And I know we've talked about it earlier and stuff, but Dying Fetus was one of them where it was just real hard to choose. All right, man. So that was your number 2. My number 2 is Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated.
All right.
1992. We talked about it. Third studio album. I talked about the cover. I really like the cover. It's classic Cannibal Corpse. Chris Barnes. It's ageless. I mean, you can listen to it, and it's
anybody who's into death metal knows this album.
It's a very mainstream album, but it very well makes it to the second to me my second spot in my top 10. It's very much earns the spot. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, Chris Barnes. I know you talked about earlier. Chris Barnes is like your favorite out of the two, as far as Cannibal Corpse songs go, or vocalists. I mean, go. Corpse Grinder is my favorite. I didn't grow up on Chris Barnes or anything like that, so I wasn't. I started out listening to Cannibal Corpse with like Torture, you know, Scourge of Iron shit with fucking Corpse Grinder, you know. So it wasn't. He was who I dug.
Right.
You know, I love Chris Barnes' stuff for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just used to Corpse Grinder.
Yeah, and nothing to take away Corpse Grinder at all, because I mean he's awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean they're just two different vocalists, but they all make it work for Cannibal, you know, and I mean, in all honesty, Corpse Grinder is what's made Cannibal popular to this day, super popular. You know, is his vocals. And
I love his like stage presence too. Like he's just involved with the crowd so much, and I mean we've experienced it multiple times, seeing them live and everything, and he just gets real into it and shit with the fucking windmill, and I mean his neck, he'll fucking kill you with his neck and shit.
He never stops. The
I don't know how he does it.
I don't either. I mean, his neck is like the
dude's got to have like a personal masseuse or something, dude, because there's no fucking way that this dude's neck does not just like. I mean, just imagine he does that. He's on tour, and so has multiple shows, you know, throughout months at a time,
right.
I mean, the dude's got to be fucking sore.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how he doesn't have like brain damage, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's just such a cool guy.
Yeah.
He's so
great front man.
Yeah. You know, he's so down to earth, cool. I mean, we seen him get agitated one time.
Yeah.
I think it was my first time seeing him. I think your second time seeing him.
Yeah.
We seen him kind of somebody yelled Slayer or something at the show.
Slayer, yeah.
And he wasn't too happy with that.
Well, they threw a bottle up on stage or something.
Yeah, there was some
which that's garbage. You know, you shouldn't.
Yeah, disrespect the fucking
disrespect to the thing.
Even if you don't like the band, you know, don't.
But yeah, he'll call him up.
Yeah, I think he did. He said something
he's like, "Come up here, man." You know?
Yeah.
You know,
of course, that guy backed down real quick. I mean, the dude would fucking headbutt him and kill him. So
right, but I actually got a chance to meet Cannibal Corpse. I saw them in Valparaiso, Indiana, with Cattle Decapitation. Was with them too.
Yeah, that was your first time seeing Cattle too, right?
Yep. Yeah. Both Cannibal and Cattle.
Oh hell yeah.
Super nice guys, man.
Yeah, you know, they seem really cool, man.
Each band, you know, thanked you just a lot for just support and everything else like that. Yeah.
I know I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but who is the dude with the bandana on that plays the guitar?
Plays the guitar. Rob Barrett.
Yeah. He always, every time that we've seen him, he always like makes eye contact with me and gives me the horns, like every time.
Yeah.
Like, so that's pretty fucking cool. You know?
Yeah.
They just all seem real cool. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to the show that you went to. And I've never met Cannibal Corpse, but eventually sometime we definitely should go get a VIP and meet them.
Oh yeah.
Together, you know?
Yeah. It was awesome. In fact, that's when the first time I saw Cattle Decapitation that night too, I really started getting into Cattle Decapitation after. I mean, I liked them before. I was listening to them and stuff like that, but it was sort of like the Obituary thing with you. You saw them live, and you just even dug them even more. And that was for me with Cattle, because I just watching not only Travis Ryan's vocals and stuff, but his stage presence is fucking awesome. You know, he's just you see him, you know, he's just hunched over the monitor, like in the face of the crowd, and just doing his gutturals and everything else like that.
Yeah, he just gets real into it.
Just gets into
it's real brutal and everything. Yeah, we've seen him a couple times now too, and it's the same thing every time, man. He's just fucking right up there in people's face, and when vocalists have that kind of stage presence, it like gets you more in the mood for the music. You know, like that's what gets you into the pit and shit, because they amp you up, you know, and like that's what we were talking about earlier with like Ingested with Jason. I mean, he just fucking amps you up, and Travis is very much the same way, where he'll like fucking amp you up, get you in the pit and everything, and the Cattle is like notorious for their fucking pits.
Oh yeah,
like they get pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 2, Cannibal Corpse.
Cool. Number 1, here we are. For me, number 1 is Skinless debut album, 1998, Progression Towards Evil.
Hell yeah.
This album is fucking awesome. I can't say enough of this album. Right off the rip, you know, dude starts out, I want you to sit back, relax, grab your girl, grab your pole. Let's take a little trip to the old bunghole.
Yeah.
Roll them.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking awesome.
It just from the first track to the last track, it's just like a huge train wreck coming down the fucking tracks, man. It's just brutal as hell, you know?
Oh yeah.
Whenever I have a shit day and I feel like fucking shit up, this is the album.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Skinless is fucking badass, dude.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they didn't come on to my like I said, it was so fucking hard. We should have made this like a 1 out of 50 or something.
Yeah.
Which would have fucking took
so
us
many
forever,
albums would have been on there. But I mean, I can literally say I love every song on this album. I do. Tampon Lollipops, you know, Milk and Innards, Contaminated, you know, Crispy Kids, you know,
dude,
Fetus Goulash. It's just it's great. And the album cover itself, I mean, you know, it's has the dudes being hung, and it's a real picture of horse thieves back in the 1800s. It's a real picture of them being hung.
Oh yeah.
You know, and we just talk, you know, that just enhances the whole death metal thing. You know, I love it when, you know, it probably says a lot about me, but you know, I love it when people have, you know, when bands have that kind of album cover. You know, it's just real brutal.
It's like ballsy, that, you know, too.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's like Mayhem's album, you know, when they did, you know, Head's Suicide, you know, took a picture and they, you know.
Wasn't that their buddy that committed suicide or something? Or a band member? Or no?
Yeah.
Was it a band member?
Yeah, Head, the vocalist for Mayhem. Yeah, he committed suicide. And the guitar player took the picture of it, you know.
Yeah.
He, like, slit his wrists and blew his brains out, and he took a picture of it, and it ended up being a bootleg album called Dawn of the Blackhearts. And you know, it's just, you know, I'm not into black metal or anything, but you know, it's just that kind of, you know, I like it when bands, you know, have kind of just really kind of just go all out in the death metal.
Yeah, you know, like realistic stuff.
Just making, you know, it just adds to the
like amps you up. I mean, when you see Skinless, like for example, if you see Progression Towards Evil album cover, I mean, me personally, I'm gonna grab that shit off the shelf. You know, like, wow, this is, even if I've never heard of Skinless before, it grabs your attention because it's just so brutal. You know, if they're, the way I see it, if they're brutal enough to put that straight up on their fucking album cover, then their music is probably brutal as fuck.
Yeah,
you know,
even if you don't hear them, you just know it's got to be some sick shit.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. So it's badass when they do that kind of thing. So yeah, man, Skinless. You know, I can listen to Skinless all fucking day. Yeah, I love Skinless too.
Me too. And I mean, you listen to them now; they're like more this. we talked about earlier about, internal bleeding sounding a lot like Skinless, which is kind of just borderline slam. You can tell the early stages of slam, the whole, the blast beat, sounding like they're just banging a trash can, that's slam, but it's the riffs, and they're all gutturals, you don't get the pig squealing or the, other noises that, it's in slam and stuff like that. But you can tell this is like early, or, early, hints of slam.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, it's just a great album.
Hell yeah, man. That's a badass number one. Like I said, I wish I could have squeezed them on there.
Yeah, it's tough to get everything. I mean, yeah, I would have had a lot more,
My number one is, I'm pretty sure everybody by this point probably fucking knows it. Is Dying Fetus, Reign Supreme, 2012. This is the album that got me into death metal. It, from the first track, Invert the Idols, with the badass breakdown towards the end, that's what hooked me. I was like, wow, this is fucking like badass. This is brutal. I remember sitting in your car and I'm like, Dad, play that shit over again, and you play it over, and I'm like, dude, that is like brutal, and then you listen to the rest of the album. This album, like you said with this one, every track you like, dude, same with this one. Every fucking track on this album is like a banger to me.
Yeah.
It's, I can listen to this, and I have listened to this a zillion times.
Yeah.
John's vocals, Sean's vocals, Trey's drumming never gets fucking old,
right?
Ever, to me. In the Trenches is my favorite song. I love how it. What makes me love this song so much is there's a point in the song towards the end where it seems like it ends, but then it's a breakdown.
Yeah.
Like it's like a very brutal breakdown.
Yeah.
And that, I remember listening to it because I thought it was two different songs. Because the way that, it completely stops. Like you think it's over with.
Right.
And but it's not. It's just a badass breakdown. And yeah, man, In the Trenches, my favorite track. Subjected to a Beating, from your favorite, From Womb to Waist. Yep. Second Skin. I mean, come on, dude.
Yep. Second, I forgot to mention that. That's another great track off that album. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like track after track is just awesome. Yeah. If you guys don't know who fucking Dying Fetus is, buy a fucking album. Go on YouTube, look them up. Dying Fetus, dude. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
To me, I
definitely check them out. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So that's our top 10, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. We had a lot of the same stuff on there. I mean, yeah.
I figured we would. I mean, we have so much in common. I'm surprised that like I said, Skinless, that's one that I would have had on here, you know. And I think same with you with Discord, and stuff. So it was really fun doing this. I'm very happy that we did this episode, because I don't think I've ever knew like your top 10, I've known what you've liked, and obviously I know what bands you like, I know what songs you like and all this shit, but I never like had an order from you that you like. So it was really cool to hear like from 1 to 10 what your favorite are, So that's what made this episode so fucking awesome, and I hope the listeners fucking dig it too. And like I said earlier in the episode, leave a comment, let us know what you would, what your top 10 are, what your fucking favorite album is, what your favorite band is, just anything. We want to be able to interact with you guys on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see my videos at Morbid Curator Podcast on TikTok. There's a Facebook page, Instagram. Don't forget to like and follow me on Spotify, because we're on Spotify also. And so, yeah, man, just thanks for coming on. And you're going to be on multiple times from here on out. So you got to, better get used to it. Fucking Morbid Curator Podcast.
Yeah, man. I love talking about this stuff, man. I really do.
Hell yeah.
I enjoy, this time sitting down with you. I mean, you know, you're busy, I'm busy. We don't get a whole lot of time to hang out and stuff. So this gives us a good excuse to hang out.
Yeah, for sure, man. And for all you listeners out there, don't fucking forget, get hip or rot. Peace out, guys.